You are live. So, let's see if it looks like we're live over here.
Is that on the? Is that what's showing?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Actually, yeah. So this is delayed. I think this is us real time. Over here is what YouTube is showing, so it's a good 10 seconds behind or something. But I've got that muted. Oh, B. Avondale, don't you need walls? What?
He's waiting.
Wow. How can that be? Is that right?
Maybe I should put on my
Brian, are you here already?
Brian? Maybe I should put on my
sunglasses
visor. I had on my visor last night because the light hurts my eyeballs. One of my eyeballs exploded.
Chat disconnected. Please wait while we try to reconnect you. Successfully connected. That's interesting.
Did you make the chat?
Well, I've made it I've done the best I can because at some point I'm going to have to share the screen. So I'm going to have to move over to here. Again, I hope this is working. Shirley Price, hi there. There we go. Oh, there we go.
Hello.
So I've got Mom. Hi, Mom. And hi, Brian.
Hi, y'all.
I'll say this a couple of times tonight as people come in, but this is our first time. Hey, Taylor and Melissa. This is our first time using StreamYard for real. We did a little test last night that seemed to work all right, but just FYI, I think there's a delay, about a 10-second delay between what we do and you seeing it on YouTube. So just FYI, I don't know if that's going to cause us any issues, but keep that in mind. I think there's a little bit of a delay built in.
The light is...
Well, I can't turn it off. I don't know.
One of my eyeballs exploded because that's what happens when you get old, apparently.
So, let's see. Taylor helped us with our test last night. Thanks, Taylor. I see Brian. Oh, I know why. I was wondering how Brian. So Brian, I don't know how he did it. He made a comment before I even went live, it looked like. But he said, don't you need walls? And I was like, how could he see anything yet? But I guess the...
it was in the thing?
The actual thumbnail is this picture from SketchUp, which doesn't have any walls on it. So.
Oh, yeah.
No, we don't need walls.
We don't need those stinking walls.
So howdy, everybody.
I probably won't say much tonight.
I'm not going to say much.
Yeah, right.
That's funny.
I'll just interrupt whenever.
Made that comment 3 hours ago. Oh, really?
Inconvenient.
Wow, I don't know. I just saw it. I guess you can make a comment once a live is like, I don't know, mentioned, even if it's scheduled for later. I guess you can comment on it. So I didn't realize that.
I'm tired. Did I spend a lot of time in the sun today? I feel like
there wasn't much sun today.
Oh, that's right. The sun was gone.
It's pretty cloudy here today,
which is rare in Arizona. So it's like when the sun isn't out, I feel like I don't want to go out there.
Just give me wide open spaces. Don't need no stinking walls. So I'll just play around here a little bit since people are still showing up. So.
Oh, I know what. I know what.
Hey,
so Taylor and Melissa, you guys, I don't know if you saw the picture I put of the habanero peppers that you gave me. I made some hot sauce out of. Yesterday, I was in the kitchen all day. I could. What?
So did the flavor come? Whoops. Sorry. Did the flavor come from the habanero or the tomatillo?
Both. Well,
the heat comes from the.
I made the hot sauce.
No, I'm talking about the salsa.
I did put a little bit of the habanero hot sauce into.
Oh, but it was mostly just tomatillo flavor. It's got a good flavor to it. Yeah, those tomatillos were good.
I looked up a couple of recipes, which this is the same thing I did the last time Melissa and Taylor gave me tomatillos.
I remember the taste is good.
Oh, so guess what happened when we were cooking the habaneros? I didn't know.
All I can see is this.
I didn't realize, which I realized later after looking at the recipe. It said, make sure you open a window.
Yeah,
because
it was like
I could not breathe.
It was like somebody had sprayed pepper spray inside the trailer. We
were both choking.
We had to open all the windows and everything, and it was fairly early in the morning, not like super early, but like early enough where we wouldn't have been opening the windows otherwise. So like we had heated up with a little bit of heat in the morning inside here, and when Pam had to open the windows and doors, we lost all that heat. So it was cold in here, but yeah, it was.
I'm gonna get this.
It was peppery.
So
it filled the whole place.
When I just had we had some leftover pizza and I put ranch and habanero hot sauce together and mixed it up and ate it with the pizza. It was good.
Oh, okay, so yeah, so she made a salsa with the tomatillos and a little bit of habanero, I guess. I didn't think it was super hot, but the tomatillo gives it really good flavor.
Melissa gave me about 1,000 serrano peppers.
Serrano or habanero?
She gave me both.
Oh.
Thanks,
so
Melissa.
Anyway, so she made a salsa, but then she also made a hot sauce. Like if you bought a little bottle of hot sauce that you would shake onto whatever.
It's orange.
So
hot,
yeah.
Extremely hot.
I actually didn't even try it, but I'm sure that was hot.
That's hot.
Oh, we got a comment. Hey, there's Bill and Yvonne.
Hey,
show us the plans. I will dive into the plans here in a minute.
We were talking about our killer hot sauce.
I didn't want to dive in too early before a handful of people showed up and then have people miss a bunch. So I thought I'd just kind of chit chat for a few minutes before I dive in.
The light hurts my eyes, so I had this on because I have busted a blood vessel in my eyeball. So anyway, that's what happens when you get old and you watch TV all day. I don't know what that. It was from being out in the wind, all the wind.
So maybe I will.
My eyeball.
I'll bring up the SketchUp here, and start going through it slowly. But
I'm very excited.
Let me see. So we tried this last night. This should work. I'm going to share my screen. The question is how to be able to share my screen and still kind of see all the comments and all that business. So I have on a shirt. Let me see here.
I have on my regular shirt, not
going
my
to screen sharing. I'm going to share my SketchUp window. So let's see. There it is. So yell at me. At least give me a thumbs up to make sure you guys can actually see this. My SketchUp should be on your screen. Hopefully you actually should be able to see my cursor move and everything, basically. So as I maneuver around this window, you should be able to see it, I think.
That's my kitchen. I can't wait.
I'm going to get you a Rush hat. Oh, you don't have the Rush shirt on this time.
That's what I just said. I said I don't have on my pajamas.
Brian says I see it. Okay, good. So this is good. Again, we tried a test last night with a couple of friends, Taylor and Melissa and Craig and Nikki, just to make sure this would work, and it appeared to work all right. So that's good news. Okay. Thanks, Bill and Yvonne.
I can't wait for this show.
So this is it. Again, so I'll just start off with, I am not a SketchUp expert or anything, but I've played around with it a little bit. So I've drawn, what you're going to see here is pretty basic. I didn't go looking around the internet. I guess with SketchUp, you can get pretty detailed. You can go find little, models of, furniture and appliances and all that stuff. And maybe at some point I'll do that, but I haven't done that yet. So what you're going to see is basically just a bunch of blocks. And it was just my idea of kind of placing things in spaces.
Ascension Ranch has joined us. Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Hello.
So Brian asked, won't you need walls, of course. So before I even jump into the plan here, I'll just show you off to the side so I can drag this over. This is not real exciting here, but this was my way of, that's going
to go around it, right?
This little blue rectangle here is basically the floor. And we've got that currently at 30 by 24 feet. That would be the interior space. That's about 720 square feet. Obviously, the exterior will be a little bigger because of the width of the bales. But this right here was just my way of, I didn't want to drop the walls around my drawing because it would make things real hard to see. but I did want to get an idea of how many bales I'd be looking at here. So
does this tell you how many?
Well,
how many bales did you count?
Well, actually, I didn't have to count them. It does tell you, but so I drew the bales here and put them around, and I didn't cut them. I didn't show me cutting them all off to get this exact size. I just wanted to get a ballpark. So I went slightly bigger with full bales everywhere around the whole thing. Obviously, there's no window and door cutouts here or anything. So this number will be I think, a little more than we need, but that's actually okay because we'll need extra for plaster and things. So it's not bad to have extra straw. Mm-hmm. So this number came to 120. And just as a little SketchUp kind of thing, it's been a little while since I've played around with this, but just so you can see, if I highlight one of these bales, I can then show like entity info or something like that, right? So I called it a bale. It should count them. There it is. So up at the top, hopefully this is big enough for everybody on my screen. It's real small. You said
120?
But there's 120 of them there. So it says there's 120 in this model. So that's 120 bales.
Times 13.
What's 13?
Well, I was just thinking, how much would it cost to get the bales? Around 15.
They're not $13 a piece. They're more like
11?
$9.
Oh, that's good.
So
120.
So anyway, that's about 100. So that was just to show, and then I can kind of get rid of that, right?
$1,000. That's less than wood,
roughly, give or take.
I would think.
Now we'll need wood as well, but
well, yeah.
So that's kind of our our four walls around it. Now, obviously, windows, doors, all that stuff. But I wanted to get a ballpark of the number of bales. So it looks like we're going to be in the neighborhood of 120 bales, give or take.
Have you been able to source the straw bales you need? Yes.
Yes. So a couple of weeks ago now, we went and checked with the Benson Feed store. And I know Bill and Yvonne got theirs from there. I was just worried about the timing. So I did check with Ed, the owner, just to make sure. I told him that I'd be looking in the March time frame for that many bales, and he said that was fine. He said just to give him a few weeks notice. So that should be good.
Did you make the text bigger on the?
I don't know that I can do that right now, but
your mom says that your house in Holiday Park was 36 by 24.
So
with how many, like 4 kids?
So, yeah. So my mom says our house in Holiday Park was 36 by 24. So we're looking at 30 by 24. Is that right? Of course. Now that's a little misleading because we had a basement, which is common on the East Coast. On the West or in Arizona,
the house part, not the
basements
basement.
are not very common. So yeah, I didn't realize that house was that small. But yes, we had 4 kids, 3 bedrooms. I know at least the kids' bedrooms were pretty much your basic, 9 by 9, kind of about as small as they can make them. I think. I forget how big the master bedroom was, but I didn't realize that place was that small. But it did have a basement, so that's a little different, but interesting. So I can take that comment away. So just stop me, anybody, if you throw a comment up if you see anything. But so that covers kind of the exterior there, the ballpark of the number of bales we think we'll need. We can do more or less if we need to. But here's a basic layout. So obviously without those walls going around the outside. So this, let me try and orient you here. Some of you actually know what our property looks like, so you can get an idea for this. But if you don't, we basically, from the bottom of this screen here is where we would drive up. Craig's here, and Nikki, maybe and Nikki.
Hi, Craig and Nikki.
Mom's saying 1 bathroom with 6 people. Yeah, it was fun.
I'm texting Tim.
Okay.
My son to join us.
So we would drive up our driveway from the bottom of this screen. So, kind of a long driveway coming up. It kind of breaks off to the left of this screen, and that's our little, what Craig likes to call our little go-kart track, goes kind of around the back of the house. And in this orientation, looking at this screen, our water tanks, if you've been watching recently, our water tanks would just be to the right of the house here. And further to the right of that would be our carport. So we've kind of got house, water tanks, carport. That is, in this particular, that's, let's see, east is on the left of this picture, west is on the right, and north is down here, and south is up. So we approach from the north on our driveway, and we wind around the back, the south side, and the carport's over on the right. So,
but we will be making a guest house.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, a little
for Nikki
bedroom. Bedroom.
So the front door here. So I've tried to draw all this stuff to scale as best I can. Again, it's just kind of blocky, but the idea is that these things represent kind of the right dimensions. So kind of a standard front door here, basic one, single swinging door. So that would be kind of our front door. It's hard to say that'll be our main entrance, because with us parking off to the side in the carport, it's hard to say whether we'll actually use the front door all the time or the back door all the time, or a combination of both. But this will be our front door kind of from the view of the driveway. So, but it's very possible that we might actually use the back door most of the time. We don't know yet, I suppose.
It doesn't really matter,
because our carport will actually be off to the side, so it's hard to say how we'll be entering the house. But there is a front door.
Can we come in between the water tanks?
A regular front door there? No, that's not going to happen. We won't be coming in directly from the carport in the side, because again, water tanks over here, carport over here.
Why couldn't you have a back door right there?
So
let's just have doors on every corner.
Yeah, we'll put doors everywhere.
In case of a fire.
Genius. So there's kind of a standard front door there. There's also, if you look in the back here, I've shown this could move slightly along this wall, but this is the south wall back here. And I show a double door that could either be French or maybe sliding glass. The idea of having a big door back there is I want to be able to that's the south side again. So I want to be able to let, in the wintertime, I'd like to be able to let a good bit of sunlight and heat in that wall of the house. And again, our floors we're planning on having the floors be earth, and actually these interior walls, just the two interior walls on two rooms that need walls, will be adobe. So the hope is that we get as much sun in here in the winter to try and heat things up, to try and get some passive heating. So that's the attempt there. So we've got front door, back double door. I see Brian's made a comment. You need some Minecraft, Pam, and walking around. Okay.
That's a good one.
We're making, I think, gaming jokes now.
Isn't that hallway just wasted space then? No, we're going to have a washer there. Why don't you move the doors
or the rooms on their eastern wall?
We're going to have a washing machine, I think.
We
point to where that
may have a washing machine.
Hey, Moses.
Hey, Moses. Welcome. Hi, Desert Homestead.
And Polly, if you're there.
Why don't you move the doors or the rooms on their eastern walls? So again, I should mention another thing. This was just kind of an initial drawing. Like I said, I think I said it a while ago. We drew with Craig. We drew this plan up on a piece of graph paper one weekend, and I then transferred it into SketchUp. And since we've done that, I've actually played around with some things and moved some things around. So if you know anything about SketchUp, again, not that it's super high tech, but I've basically grouped all these rooms together, into little boxes so that I can actually kind of drag them around and move them. So I should say, before we talk through all this, none of this is totally final yet. I was just trying to get a sense of where things would lay out. The things that are important. So talking about, I think Craig might be talking about this little kind of hallway thing in here or something. Looking like a little bit of wasted space, possibly. So we can talk about either growing this bathroom or bedroom, maybe to shrink that up a little bit. That's totally possible. But
wait, come again with that?
I think what Craig is saying. I'm saying things can still change here. We could slightly grow some of these rooms so that this isn't some big hallway. I think right now, I haven't measured between here, but this might be like 6 feet.
I would,
and that is kind of wasted.
Add some space in that bedroom.
So I think what Craig is saying, doors for other rooms, he might be talking about moving these doors that you see here to kind of this other wall, and then maybe these rooms could almost just meet and that hallway goes away.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I thought about that.
Craig, that's a valid point. Yes. And this is all still up for, discussion here. This was just a first attempt at getting things down on paper and laying things out and getting at least, a general orientation.
Is Timmy? Are you there? Timmy said he's gonna. He was going to. He just texted me and said he was joining. I was just wondering if he's there.
Thanks for the update,
Timmy. Are you there? Could you be there?
So, one of the first things we did that Craig will notice because he drew the picture with us was when we first drew this, and I'm not sure why.
He's texting me on my phone and not.
We had these.
Okay.
I think we had this whole thing kind of flipped over from north to south here. We had the kitchen and the maybe just the kitchen and the living room part was flipped. We had the kitchen kind of on this south area. Nikki wants to know if you've considered expansion in the future, possibly adding rooms and such. I never know when they're serious or not.
Oh, Tim's watching on his TV, so he can't comment. I love you though, Timmy.
Okay. I don't plan on expanding this, but we could always build additional structures, which is already a plan for a bedroom, a guest room. And actually, we have plans for a guest room and an outdoor bath and shower and bathroom. So not so much expansion, but additional, yes. But the idea is that those additions would hopefully be small enough outside that they can be done without permits. So hopefully the plan is for this to be the only thing permitted. And then we're kind of done with that process after this. So anyway, when I put this down on SketchUp, that allowed me to kind of drag some things around and change some dimensions. Yes, dear.
Make sure you allow for the width of the interior walls. It shrinks things.
Good point. That's actually exactly why I wanted to draw things this way and get them into 3D a little bit, because as you noticed, these hopefully, I think the only plan for interior walls here are these on the bedroom. So just a quick, what we're seeing here is kitchen in the, let's see, in this drawing, this would be north on the northeast side. This is kitchen. Living space here. That's actually, it's hard to tell, but that's a couch and like a coffee table. This is kind of standard L kitchen with
I can't wait for that.
Oven, sink, refrigerator. This is actually a table here that is going to function kind of like an island for us. We actually already have that table. It came from our old house, so it's kind of a bar table. We may use that as kind of a kitchen table / island / that could be a lot of things, and we plan to make it kind of mobile. I might even put like casters on it or something so that it could kind of move around the room. But for right now, it's almost laying there kind of like an island to sort of divide those two spaces. And in this back area, we've got master bedroom, which just has bed, dresser, and two little side kind of dresser, not dresser, but closets. Like cabinets, closets beside the bed.
Walk-in closet.
Yeah, his and hers walk-ins. And then a small bathroom, which basically has room for a shower stall, a toilet, and a sink.
Is that square thing the toilet?
This box
represents the toilet?
This box right here represents the toilet, yes. So again, none of this is it's all just boxy, but I believe it is all pretty much to scale.
What is the thickness of
Craig,
those walls?
So Moses brought up the walls, and Craig asked, what's the thickness of those walls? So these interior walls, I think I've drawn them a foot thick, and hopefully that will account for the size of pretty much an adobe brick, potentially with or without plaster on it. So I don't know whether you even need to plaster those interior walls or not, if of adobe, or whether you just kind of do the mortar, I guess, between them.
Yes, those are closets.
I thought those were giant. They could double as giant speakers. We want to have a really good sound system in the bedroom. So these are big speakers.
Hey, guess what? Those are a lot bigger than the closets we have now.
Right.
Which are like.
So yeah, we kind of went back and forth on like closet space and stuff like that, especially when we originally had kind of a second bedroom in here. But I mean, the way Pam and I have lived here for 3 years almost now in this tiny little space, not that we want to continue to do that, but we've learned to kind of compromise. So we can kind of live with pretty minimal, especially we're not big clothes people.
We're going to have to figure out some sort of there's going to be some more cabinets or shelves or something.
I haven't shown
we have a lot
any of that yet.
Look at all this cabinet space we have in here.
So keep in mind, every wall has the potential. For example, this big living space just about every wall, as long as there's not a door on it. I mean, there could be bench seating / storage,
storage
cabinets and things like that. We can have freestanding kind of. I actually have already thought about potentially a freestanding maybe pantry at the end of this little section here. Obviously, we'll need something, right, pantry wise, because I've really only shown a couple of countertops and the major appliances here. So
yeah, I was thinking over here maybe we would have like a food pantry or something.
Yeah, I could see that.
There.
But a lot of this stuff could be kind of freestanding, could be sort of after the fact.
And this has storage inside of it.
Yeah, it does.
And drawers.
I'll admit I haven't shown a ton of, storage space here, but that's almost sort of on purpose because I want to be sort of flexible on that kind of stuff. So anyway, I'd like for as much of that stuff to be kind of freestanding as possible. I don't want to do too much trying to attach to walls. I mean, that's not, you have to really think that stuff through with straw bale walls to kind of be able to have something to anchor into. So I'd like to do as little of that as possible and try and keep as much freestanding kind of stuff as possible. So again, some valid points that Craig made. This
area too.
What I tried to do here was make these rooms sort of, to start with, I made them kind of as small as they could be, right? Just to hold the things they need to hold, right? And then I just wanted to throw them on this drawing to kind of see how things would lay out. And one of the first things that jumped out at me, of course, was this kind of hallway dead space here. So we could either shrink this up by closing these up. We could move these doors to other walls.
You told
we could
me
do away with this altogether.
We
could potentially, this could potentially be an area for maybe a little laundry area kind of in the back section of this. We could tuck a washer maybe with maybe some cabinetry over it or something like that. So this is a possible spot for a laundry area.
Otherwise,
down at the end of this little hallway.
If we have a washer that's in the big shed, then you're going to have to plumb water out to that.
Correct. I had originally, that was a good point Pam made about the washer. I had originally thought that we would put our washing machine out in the shed. But I don't think, other than that washing machine, I really don't have any reason to have water out in that shed. So that would be something we'd have to do to make that happen. Or unless, Craig and I have always talked about just a sort of a fill it as you go kind of water setup. If you wanted to do that, maybe you just feed some kind of gravity feed area to feed
which wall will the Murphy bed? The Murphy bed.
The Murphy bed's gone.
Brian is. I mean, here's what I'm thinking. Maybe like right here, you could build a little Murphy bed. Because
I guess you could put.
But it doesn't have to be immediate. We'll use a blow-up mattress for the time being. The problem with putting the washer there is that you have to take the wash through the hole.
I think we might be getting into the weeds a little bit. I don't know if Craig thinks you take clothes out of a washing machine in your bare hands and you walk them somewhere sopping wet, but I don't think that's generally how you do that.
The washer spins the water out.
There may be a bucket or a basket involved there, so I'm not sure that that's a concern, really.
I have a laundry basket.
So you can already see, I can already see what's happening. We're getting way into the details. Believe me, I haven't thought that far ahead. Now, I'll admit, I'm a person that tends to think almost too far ahead, but there are some details I don't know yet. But it's interesting that you're worried about me dripping water through the house with my laundry.
These are going to be earthen floors too. So
Brian says, I think outside of a toilet, you don't need interior walls.
Hey, it's Dawn. Hi, Dawn.
Hey, Dawn. Good to see you. Affordable Desert Living. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Brian. When I thought about what needed to be in here, what walls needed to be in here, and again, I'm trying to keep everything kind of as simple as it can be. To me, it was the only things that need walls are our bedroom and the bathroom, and that's it. And that's what you see here.
And we didn't really want them to touch.
And we didn't really want them to touch, because that's one thing that we've learned in our one-bedroom condo in Mexico, with that, trying to put that bathroom kind of centrally so that it can be accessed from the living space and the bedroom space. It makes for no privacy, actually. Right. So we have learned that from our one-bedroom setup at our condo.
We learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
Okay, read the questions.
So mom says, would you, so I can throw this up. So mom says, would you consider a stacked washer and dryer at the end of the hall? Or
I would.
Or are you only planning to hang laundry out? So from the beginning, we haven't really planned on a dryer. I'm sure Pam would love a dryer, but being on solar, a dryer is a definite energy hog. So there hasn't really been a plan for a dryer. A washer should be plenty. We should be fine hanging on laundry out. Again,
we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, depending on how energy goes and how things go in the future, you know, all these things are subject to modification. But the idea now is to keep things as simple as possible. And we're perfectly willing to make compromises. Again, we've lived in this thing for 3 years. Not that we want to continue to live exactly this way, but I should say that we don't mind too much living this way. The one thing that's bothered us is just some of the inefficiency, like I've said a million times. So we don't need a ton of space. We don't need a ton of gadgets and a ton of, you know, so I can get rid of that. But our starting point is to keep things very simple. So there is no plan for a dryer. Could that change in the future? Sure, it could. But today there's no plan for a dryer.
Hi, Big Dreams Homestead.
Big Dreams Homestead. How many square feet? So what we're starting with, what we're showing now is 720. It is the interior is 30 by 24, and that kind of just fell into our laps basically when we built the carport. Once we had put those kind of corner posts in the ground, we looked at it and said, well, what if it was this size? And we started walking around, and then we drew some things on paper, and it seems to kind of work at least pretty close. So right now we're at 720. We're at 30 by 24, and we think that might be very doable. So this is our layout the way we've got it. Again, it is not necessarily the final, but I was just trying to make sure again that everything would fit in that 30 by 24 and would give us kind of all the spaces we needed. Yes, this little hall area is weird and we've got to do something about that and think about that. Do we want to put something there? Do we want to close that up and have these rooms basically just touch? Again, the privacy issue, but even if these touched and they had a thick wall between them, that might be okay. I don't know. But when I started down this road, again, because of our experience in the condo, the 1-bedroom condo, we, from the beginning, have kind of wanted to have some separation between the bedroom and the bathroom. So this is on purpose.
And I don't like 2 doors in the bathroom at the condo. We have a door on the one side and a door going into the bedroom. I don't like that because every time if we have someone in there with us, you have to close both doors and it's just a pain. So
I think I've covered kind of all the furniture you see here, even though it's blocky. That's kind of all the furniture we're looking at. So when it comes to, this is pretty minimal, but we've talked about already kind of out additional spaces separate from this. So we've talked already about a guest room. I see it. We've talked about a guest room outside and an outdoor bathroom and shower.
Hello,
so this keeps things pretty minimal.
Common man.
So let's see. So Taylor says, high the walls. I assume he means how high are the walls? The way I've showed this right now, again, I don't really have the walls on here, but these walls, what I drew over here as the kind of the perimeter, and what I've drawn these Adobe interior walls to be is 8 feet high. So I think that's pretty standard.
So
I
he won't
that should be
bump
fine.
His head as much.
Yeah.
He still bumps his head.
I've tried to draw these door openings as standard door openings. So hopefully everything in here is pretty to scale and standard. I think that was my attempt at least. So I hope that's true. So Bill / Yvonne are asking, that's a valid question. What's the advantage of Adobe walls around the bathroom if it's not going to get direct sunlight? Good point.
I want a window in there, by the way.
There will be a window in there. It'll be to the north, so it won't get much direct light. But the logic, well, for one, we just kind of liked the idea of Adobe interior walls to start. Hopefully get the benefit of some passive heating and cooling through that. But again, if this wall doesn't get any direct sunlight, one advantage I think is sound. So again, this being a bathroom, this being a 1-bedroom place, not a very big place. And again, back to our experience at our 1-bedroom condo. Hey, Jim.
Hey, Jim.
And Jessica.
Hey, Jessica.
Hopefully, and again, if that's unnecessary, we could maybe rethink that. But I think maybe this will give us some sound benefit. Hopefully, just being thick and dense. So I don't know if I'm overthinking that, but that was some of the logic behind that. When we first drew this up with Craig, and again, we were trying to fit 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. We were kind of squishing things together, and again, we were very aware of the situation that occurs in a small 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom place, in that bathroom doesn't really have much privacy. So we basically were trying to use thick, dense walls from the beginning for that reason. It was also a sound thing.
What about being hi, Nona Grace is here.
There's Nona Grace. Hello.
This is going to be our house, Nona Grace.
So Dawn a minute ago said,
hopefully in a year or so.
Dawn said something a little bit ago that I missed. Oh, he said, super impressed that you have mastered SketchUp. Definitely ahead of me. Well, as I've said many times, SketchUp is really powerful, and I have just scratched the surface. But as I've told many people, it's pretty easy to pick up the basics in SketchUp. It's not real hard, but it is super powerful, and I have not even scratched the surface. So
this is what Brian's talking about.
So
this is all we talk about, by the way.
So
and the well or whatnot.
I've talked a bunch again, surprise, but that's a pretty quick run through of things here. Feel free to ask questions. I might shoot him down. I know, I give Craig a hard time, but I can do that because he's Craig. But I'll admit, with some of your questions, there are, I haven't gone all the way down the road. I mean, I'm a person who tends to kind of take on too much at once, so I'm trying not to think of every step 20 steps down the road. So I'm not claiming that I have every answer to every question in this little layout here, and this still is potentially subject to change, but this was my attempt at fitting the minimum of kind of what we need into the space we think we can fit it into. So this is how it fell out, and I think it's workable. I think it's a workable plan. So feel free to ask or suggest or whatever. So, and some of the things like, sorry.
Oh,
like the whole laundry issue, maybe they'll change, years down the road as we start to live this. Maybe we'll change our mind. So
maybe we'll rip it down, rip the walls down. The roof will.
Correct. So
what?
Yeah, that is a good point, Craig. So yeah, I don't show the roof on here, obviously, but the roof will be a single slope, a shed style roof. So even though the walls are 8 feet high here, they'll really be 8 feet high on, and I guess my slant will be to the south. So to the, it'll slant down to the top of this picture. So it will be high on this front edge, the north edge, and lower on this south edge. So if this is 24 feet from north to south, if I do even a 1 in 12 slope, which is a really minimal slope, it would slope 2 feet over that. So if it was 8 feet in the back, it'd be 10 feet at the front. So as far as ceilings go, it could be a little higher inside.
What I was going to say is this will seem huge compared to what we're living in now. So.
Sure, absolutely. So Jim.
There's
Jim. Believe me,
Jim's going to live in a gnome home.
Earthbags, the big draw of Earthbag for me, the potential draw of Earthbag for me from the beginning was a non-conventional roof. So that it is definitely a plus.
I think, yes.
Yeah, the other thing, that's a good point. So
my art gallery.
So Dawn just made a point, Brian. I don't think
point.
having hallway and walls is a bad thing at all. Good place for Pam to hang paintings. I should say another point on this hallway, and again, it is definitely too wide because I could break out the tape measure, but I think it is roughly, it's either 5.5 or 6 feet here. Definitely way bigger than even a normal hallway would need to be. But If I wanted to say leave this like this, there could also be cabinetry in here, like I was talking about. This could be storage for clothes, linens, pantry, anything where we needed storage space.
Yeah.
You could use areas like this. Yeah. So
that point to the closets.
So the closets that we have right now are beside the bed, basically. So in the bedroom, we've got
more like a what would you
kind of a dresser.
Wardrobe?
It'd be like a wardrobe. Yeah, it's kind of a floor to ceiling beside the bed, which is actually similar to our
Jim, you crazy. Yeah, this will be way more than what I'm used to, which is no closet.
But actually, it's a good point. What looks like dead space here in this little hallway area could easily be definitely well-used space with storage cabinets or whatever. So maybe I do leave it like this and I put some cabinetry in here and stuff.
That's what I'm talking about.
I actually had thought about that before and I forgot to mention that. But that's totally a valid point. So I'm going to catch up here. I think we should put
we'll have
roof on it.
Sheets and blankets.
What about closets? Good point.
And
again, Pam and I are pretty simple when it comes to clothes and things.
Yes,
obviously, there's going to be towels, there's going to be sheets, there's going to be all that stuff. But we are pretty minimal people in general. So yes, there does need to be somewhere, but I don't think there needs to be as much as would be in a normal house. And most of the people on here probably aren't thinking in terms of a normal house, because a lot of people on here are kind of living the sort of life we're starting to live. But if you aren't, you definitely want to get away from that kind of normal house mindset, because this is going to be a lot simpler, a lot smaller.
We haven't considered feng shui yet.
Jim, feng shui.
But I'm going to look into it to see if it fits.
Craig says you're putting your clothes in speakers. I'd put the washer and dryer in that hallway space. It's potential to throw a washer in here. That's possible.
Yes.
Kind of at the end of that hallway, a little laundry area. That's possible.
At the very least, a washer. Excuse me.
So 700 square feet. So big dreams.
Hey, I want to tell Tim, if you have any questions,
Timmy clearly doesn't want to talk.
Well, Timmy said he's watching it on TV, but he can text me if he has a question.
Oh, right. I'm sorry.
He's probably going to say, "Where's my bedroom?"
Big Dreams Homestead says 700 square feet is about double the size I am planning. So I get it. LOL. About double. So you're going real small there.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Is it? Don's is only like 200 square feet.
Well, Don's current is 200.
Current.
Where he's hoping to get to is more in the 6 or so range. So not much smaller.
That's right.
Pretty close to this. So
I remember now.
And I will also admit, the 30 by 24, like I said, when we started with the 30 by 24, it basically just, we plucked it out of the air based on our carport and we started walking around inside of it. And we actually, at that point, we were still trying to fit 2 bedrooms. So when we yanked that second bedroom out, that's where we ended up with almost, a little bit of the dead space in here, because I was keeping all these rooms pretty much as small as I could. So when I dropped them onto that 30 by 24 kind of space, I ended up with a little extra room. Now, we could either make use of that extra room wisely with some things like cabinets or stuff, or we could even shrink some of this stuff up. But I don't think we're going to shrink it up. But the reason we ended up with a little bit of extra space is because we were actually trying to squeeze 2 bedrooms into this whole thing from the beginning. So,
yeah, once we get all the dirt and stuff figured out there, we can like draw it all out like with a stick in the dirt, like, and see how it feels. Right? So
Don from Affordable Desert Living says 640. That's what I thought. I think he said 16 by 40.
Oh, there's a bug flying around.
Oh, I got a bug. Jim says, where does the indoor pool go? Wherever you dig the hole.
I want a hot tub. Yeah.
And Craig's asking about egress.
What's
egress? Exit. So when it comes to code and things, I'll admit I don't know exactly what the rules are, but I will say that we do plan to have in the bathroom, there will be at least a small window. And there definitely will be some venting in there, because in a bathroom, you're going to have things like steam and whatnot. So there will be a little window in the bathroom. It will be on the north side of the house, so it shouldn't really get much direct light.
What about a skylight?
Could we have probably not?
Because
Probably.
you're afraid.
I would prefer to not mess with the roof. I don't want to mess with the roof if I don't have to. I don't think it's kind of necessary, but we'll see. In the bedroom,
a vent. We can have a vent thing. Okay, sorry.
The bedroom, we will have probably a decent sized window on the south side. Again, for hopefully a little bit of passive heating, cooling. Probably not on the west side. One, because that's where the setting sun is. That'll get pretty warm. Also on this west side, if you go back to the beginning of when I started talking about this, to the west side of the building here is basically a handful of storage tanks and our carport. So there's not much to see out there anyway. And just in our natural landscape, there's really not much of a view that way. I should say that. Again, if you're able to if you've seen our videos enough, seen our property enough on our videos, or if you've been out here and you understand how I'm orienting all of this, you might be able to follow this. But I should mention that our views, our good views from here, are to the north, to the kind of the bottom of the screen
and
here,
on that end,
and to the east, which is the left side of the screen here. Those are our good views.
Don asked a question,
and that's kind of I'll get it in a second.
Oh, okay.
But that's kind of why the kitchen is where it is, and why the bedroom is kind of tucked back where there really aren't views. So that also plays into the way these rooms are laid out. The views are to the bottom and to the left, so that's where we want to be able to see things.
Where we will spend most of our time.
So Dawn says, Brian, Pam, so sorry if I missed something super obvious. Low flush toilet or compost? Good question.
I don't even know the answer to that.
Well, it's one of those that we might, sort of like the laundry thing, we might sort of decide on the fly. That sounds funny to say about a toilet, but what I plan on doing is I plan on plumbing a connection for a toilet in this bathroom that I've shown here. But Pam and I currently are perfectly happy with our compost toilet, with our compost toilet that we're doing. That's perfectly fine with us. We don't have an issue with that, even long term. Some visitors may have issues with that, but I do want to leave the possibility open, and that's the kind of thing that would be sort of hard to do after the fact. So I am going to try to have I'm going to leave the possibility for a flush toilet in this bathroom. So I'm going to plumb it in and probably just kind of cover it up, and we'll put our compost toilet there, and we'll sort of play it by ear as we go. If
we hate it, then we'll
so that's kind of a funny answer, but it is another one of those kind of like the laundry where it's like, I'll admit I'm trying to leave my options open as much as possible. So I know that I may get myself into trouble over time trying to do that because you can't accommodate everything, but I am trying to make choices where I can that allow me to, in the future, kind of go this way or that, depending on what we learn, and a lot of them are based on energy, water, so maybe as we experience a year or 2 years in this thing, if we're like, hey, we could get a dryer, maybe we add a dryer to the mix. But from my starting point, I want to be as simple as possible because I just don't think we might not be able to support all those things.
Yeah, that is nice about the bucket. It never gets clogged.
So we love the compost toilet. So it doesn't break, it doesn't leak. So
the only thing is I'm wondering about if like a lot of times I go out there and Brian has thrown peat moss and pine shavings everywhere.
All over the place.
If your arm hits on the way with the peat moss and goes flying. Yeah. But you just sweep it.
Right now, our compost toilet is outside, so if cover material spills here or there, it's not that big of a deal. But if it's your indoor bathroom,
Jim says buckets may help reduce visitors.
That's not a bad. I don't know if my sister's on here right now, but she's the one I had in mind when I said some of our visitors won't like bucket toilets. So
she's never tried one. Don't say you don't like it until you try it.
I haven't seen her on here yet, but yeah, she's one of the ones who has said I will never use one of those. So, and also, Dawn just made a comment. Sunshine is the best dryer in the world. That's just another thing.
I don't mind hanging up clothes.
I just don't think a dryer is all that necessary, to tell you the truth. Now, again, you've probably hung clothes in your lifetime. Growing up, I imagine. I did not.
a lot.
So
when I was like 6 years old,
you know, maybe I'll hate it. I don't know. We've done laundry here. We've hung it up. It can be a tiny hassle, but you know, it hasn't bothered me that much yet. So again, I'm trying to keep things as simple as possible, usually to conserve energy, water, things like that. So if things change as we go, then we'll do what we can. And I'm trying to leave my options open as much as I can. So
yeah, I don't have a problem with it until the bees start coming swarming me when I'm
Big Dreams Home says she will use it if she has to go and it's the only thing available. Yeah, I think I've already informed her that she may have to drive to Walmart in town if she wants to go to the bathroom. So.
And she may have an accident on the way there. Oh yeah, it dries really, really fast.
Yeah, we definitely have super low humidity, so
it dries in about an hour.
Very quick. So, yeah, where possible, and this is just my nature. Where possible, I like to leave the options open as much as possible. But that also is one of the reasons I get stuck on a lot of things, because I have a hard time making a choice between one or two things. So, but I am trying to leave my options open. If we decide a year or two down the road something needs to change, hopefully I've left enough flexibility that we can make some of those changes. So, you know, there's always the possibility of a dryer in the future, a flush toilet in the future. And that's why I'm thinking about flush toilet now, because even though I don't think I'm going to put one in from the start, I don't want to have to try and plumb it in after the fact. I think that would be really hard. So I am going to try and set it up so that it's possible. Mm-hmm. Mesquite is a perfect clothesline. A mesquite tree. Sure. So
flip a coin. What does that mean?
I'm not sure.
He does his own laundry and I do mine.
That's true. Yeah. We still don't know. We still haven't made a final decision. And again, on the washer we have, like I was giving it a hard time a little while ago. But it's about expectations, right? If you understand that with the washer we have, that small washing machine, if you keep the loads small, it can do a fine job. It's just if you try and pack in what fits in there and it gets tight, you know, the clothes, yeah. But you just can't try and fill it that much.
No big ones.
Oh, he's saying flip a coin to make a decision. So yeah, I have a hard time making decisions, as anyone who knows me will know. I like to evaluate every option and then not choose one.
That's right. So, and then I have to just say,
which is why I tend to take a long time to do things. So, so that's where we're at. We're at 50 minutes in here already. I think I don't want to, I've already hung the whole time, but, okay. I think I've covered kind of the whole, what our thought process so far, our plans so far. Now they're just plans. You know, if something has to change, it has to change.
Hey, Billy,
Billy, where's good question. And I hate to say, this is a terrible answer to say. Pipes. I haven't thought that far. I am beginning to think now that I'm, I haven't made a video of it yet, but I am doing tires outside, for the pad, because I'm setting up a pad and will very shortly be setting up, things are backwards on the screen. Because I'll very shortly be setting up my footer that the actual bales will sit on. It is time, like I mentioned about the toilet, it's time to think about at least plumbing. So Billy is saying water lines, water pipes for water. I haven't thought about every water pipe and everything in the house, but I am thinking about at least the in and out, the one main kind of exit point, because I'm doing some things to the ground and I want to make sure that I put piping in place before I fill a bunch of dirt into places and things. So I haven't gone the whole way down the road of every little kind of between this fixture and that fixture. Like I say, I've thought more about how things are going to go out of fixtures. Like in this case, a sink, you know, a kitchen sink, a bathroom sink, potentially a toilet, and a shower. Those are really the only things that are having water coming into and going out of them in this drawing. So there's not a lot going on. I've thought about how water is going to leave all of those things because I want to make sure I have the appropriate sloping so that water can flow and solids can flow within the house between these fixtures and once they leave the house to get to our septic. And again, because I'm kind of dealing with the foundation right now, I have to be thinking about that stuff. What I haven't thought about as much is how the water actually gets to those devices like the sink and the shower, and exactly where they sit, whether they're in the walls, whether they're sort of on the surface of the walls, buried in the walls. I'll admit I don't have that all worked out yet. So Billy asked that question. Jim, can you imagine building a house based on coin flips? Are you saying that's what you're doing, Jim? That would make an awesome YouTube series. So that's one more time. That's everything I've got.
I think I've asked anything that I wanted to, so I'm good.
There are so many little things here that I'll admit I either haven't thought of or have pushed away because I don't want to get so bogged down, because it's what I tend to do in my nature. There are some questions I've purposely kind of pushed off because I wouldn't be able to move forward if I didn't. So I don't claim to have every answer to every little thing here or every little detail worked out, but I think this is a solid plan, I think.
I'm excited because finally the wheels are in motion.
So yeah, we haven't, like I say, we haven't shown it yet, but we actually just had CJ over here today. Bill knows CJ. Is our kind of road maintenance guy. He's got a machine, and
there's two bills right now. I think
he's going to help. Bills. Oh yeah, upside of downsizing. He was over here today looking at what we've set up for our retaining wall for our pad, and thinking about where we're going to get the dirt and backfill that. So he was just over here to kind of look at what we had, and we talked about how to go about filling that in and where we're going to take the dirt from and things. So things are moving forward. It's a little slow, and as far as filling these tires and everything, it's all just kind of a manual process right now. So it's not real quick, but I am working on it. And like I said, as I do that, I kind of came across this plumbing, that I thought I should address, the main exit pipe that comes out of the house and gets to the septic. That's something I need to be working in right now before I start piling dirt.
I do have a question.
That was kind of important.
So he has the tires filled about halfway up right now.
Yeah.
Couldn't CJ, when he's like doing the dirt, could he have just fill? I mean, I know you'd have to.
He could. You'd still have to do all the pounding. You still have to do all the pounding.
That would
so
save you a lot of
I may ask him to come over and just pour dirt, and then I'll do the pounding kind of after the fact. But I'm not sure.
That'd make it a little bit.
He could, but right now I'm filling all the tires by hand. Just kind of either if the dirt's close, I just shovel it right in. If it's not close, I'm using wheelbarrows to move dirt back and forth. But so
all right,
that's where we're at. Hopefully that gives people an idea. I don't think we've talked very little about kind of what we thought our layout might look like. So hopefully this helps people visualize the house. So
yeah, we can't change anything.
You already have the septic installed.
Septic.
Right. The septic is what it is. When we got here, when we bought the land, the septic was already there. So the tank is where it's at. The connection, I mean, I guess you could sort of try and play around with the connection if you wanted to, but it is what it is. So we're trying to kind of just match things up with where they are right now. And I think we've got a plan in place that gives us all the appropriate slopes. So I think we're in business there, but I do want to put some of that piping in place before I start piling a lot of dirt on top of things. So that's where we're at. Hopefully this gives people an idea of what's in our minds as far as the way this thing looks. Like I said, this may not be the exact end all. To tell you the truth, the first thing I want to accomplish is really just to get, and I haven't drawn I did draw the doors, but I haven't drawn a lot of windows on here, obviously, because I don't really have the walls. Really the first thing, thanks Don. Really the first thing I'm going to try and get is just 4 walls and a roof. Right. So, I mean,
Can we move in after that?
To do those 4 walls and a roof, you really have to kind of build in doors and windows too. So that's why I kind of needed to do this, because we're going to have to try and get an idea of where windows are going to fall and things. And we'll probably actually want to even have our windows kind of in hand, windows and doors in hand, before you actually cut bales to fit openings and things. I want to go to
that window store.
So yeah.
That Joe was talking about.
Yep.
Joe, the one guy.
So yeah, sure. Anybody, either right now or we're probably going to finish up here in a minute, but you can put a comment after the fact on this video, or you can send me a comment some other way. Let me know what you think about this StreamYard thing. This was our first try with StreamYard. You can see the little logo up in the corner. That's because I'm using the free version.
I'm gonna guess
they will put that up there on the free version.
My guess is it will be completely done in 6 to 7
years,
8 months, or years.
Hey,
if we have a shell, I'm happy with that.
Baby steps, yeah. For me, I'm trying to break it down into a couple of pieces, but the major goal is 4 walls and a roof dried in, before this monsoon comes. That might be ambitious. Bill and Yvonne might be laughing at me because they have a little more experience at this than we do so far, but I'm hoping I can make that happen. Thanks, Bill and Yvonne. Great progress. Thanks for the update.
Thanks, y'all.
I personally love SketchUp. It helps me visualize.
I'm Pam
so far liking the StreamYard thing. Hopefully this StreamYard experience went okay for everybody. I hope that from your point of view, it really wasn't really much different as far as connecting and everything. That was hard to kind of practice. I did a test run, but I had to keep it sort of private and send links to things. So I wasn't sure how it was going to work out. It looks like everybody got in okay. But let me know what you think about this StreamYard thing, if it's all right. I might use it all the time.
Northwest to southwest. Hello.
Hello there.
We're just finishing up, but thank you for popping in.
Don't forget the thumbs up. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
I will say, maybe this might be for Jim and for, I don't know if Warren's on here. I didn't see him yet. But
I don't think he was on, but
one thing I want to ask, and it's mainly to Jim or anybody else who might just know, I don't know what impact doing the StreamYard setup that we've done here. I don't know what impact it has, if any, on moderators. So Jim, I'm curious if anything looked different for you, if you still had the same abilities as a moderator. I don't know how that plays into the whole thing, if at all. So let me know if anything looks funny to you or acts funny. Thanks for reminding everybody to give thumbs up. Northwest to Southwest has new neighbors. I don't know. I apologize. I don't know who that is yet. So
I will
feel free to contact us.
I will look them up. Northwest to Southwest. Do they have a YouTube channel?
So Jim says it shouldn't change anything. So yeah. So hopefully the moderation thing is still all good. So like I said, I might continue to use StreamYard all the time. It'll just give me the ability on the fly if I ever want to share anything. I like it mainly for the screen share option. And also in the future, we may make use of another capability that it has, which is inviting guests. So I actually can invite a guest and we can get 2 of us on the screen and we can talk. I don't have a use for that just yet, but we may do that in the future. So just so people are aware, I think we'll be using StreamYard from now on, but hopefully it looks the same to you. So this was our test and hopefully it worked out all right. So if nobody has anything else, we've been an hour.
Northwest to Southwest. If you will leave a comment or something in one of the videos, I'll go.
Yeah, we'll try and find you guys
if you have a channel. But thank you, everyone.
And we should mention we just met Don from Affordable Desert Living this past weekend.
Yeah.
It was great meeting him. A new guy down in the Sierra Vista area. He's been out for a little while, but always nice to meet locals.
They just closed on their
so somebody
land.
just closed on land. Well, we'll have to talk.
In St. David, or
so Craig likes, yeah, I like that too. So Craig says, I like just throwing the comments up on the screen. It's a minor little detail, but it's kind of nice to be able to throw the comments up on the screen when you want to. So that's all I've got, everybody. Again, as always, thanks for joining us here. Thanks for watching the videos. Please continue if you enjoy them. I'm always sorry I don't make more. I apologize. I always want to make more, but life happens.
He's working on one
so
right now.
I am working on one. As I mentioned, I did a kind of an interview with Rick, the water tank guy, and I'll be trying to put that one. I'm trying to put that one together right now. So, so hopefully that'll be the next video. Thanks everybody for stopping.
Bye.
We'll talk to you next week.
Thank
you very much. That'll do it.
Oh wait.
Good night, Billy.
All right. Good night.
Thanks everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
I stop screen sharing, and now I will end the
My
broadcast.
face is hot.
Night, night.
Night, night.